Hey, I'm Christopher Sasha. I'm a functional health strategist and author and a host for a radio talk show that's all about dealing with achieving optimal health. And one of the things that a lot of people, health experts and just general population, disagree with me or they argue with me about the stance on fruit that I have. I think that fruit is good in certain times, not the times that most of us eat it, not the way that it's eaten. But the problem with fruit is that fruit is basically a simple sugar, and it's made of fructose. And fructose, what happens is that the body takes the fructose, goes into the liver, and it gets converted into triglycerides, which is a fat. So fruit gets stored as fat very easily. And the reason behind that is because of insulin. It's a fat storing hormone. Now, every time you eat, your body has to produce insulin so that your body can take the calories from the foods you eat, and insulin puts them into three different places. It puts it into all your 100 trillion cells that make up your body. Then it goes into the glycogen tanks, which are in your liver and your muscle tissue. And then whatever's left over gets stored as body fat. But the problem with insulin is if there's a lot of insulin that comes in at one time, then most of these calories are going to get stored as body fat. So you want to have the insulin to come up slow and down slow. If it comes up quick, you get stored body fat very easily. So the problem with fruit also is that most people just eat fruit by itself. And the problem with that is that the sugar rush. People eat fruit for breakfast most of the time. And with that, they also eat like donuts or dry cereal, which is all carbs. It's all sugar, and all that is getting converted into stored fat because most of us aren't moving. Most of us have a sedentary lifestyle. In fact, 70% of Americans are overweight or obese, and the fact is that there's more obese individuals than there are just merely overweight. So we're becoming a fatter and fatter nation and a sicker nation. 95% of the time, most of us are sitting or laying down most of the day. So many of us are exercising or moving around. And it's not like it used to be 100 years ago where we were working in the fields to make the crops, to make the food. We were working on assembly lines. We rode bikes because not many of us had cars, or we walked. And we don't do any of that now. So what's happening is we have all these minor luxuries which are making our lives easier, but it's also killing us at the same time because we no longer move. So we need to improvise what we once did in the fields, what we once did in the assembly lines, and what we can call it is exercise. So we need to exercise. So going back to the fruit and why I disagree with the governmental agencies, I disagree with the media, even your doctors. Your doctors don't have much experience with nutrition. They're not trained in that. They're trained in prescribing drugs and doing surgeries. So a lot of them don't know very much about nutrition. But the problem with fruit is that they're little packets of sugar. That's all they are, with a few vitamins and minerals. So all this sugar is getting into your system. You're not moving around, so you're not using the energy, so it's getting stored as body fat. So how do we reverse that, and how can we make this work for you? And this is what we're going to talk about here. So when you eat sugar, when you eat fruit, fruit is a simple carbohydrate, which means that it's usually a high glycemic index food. And glycemic index, all that is it's a measurement of how fast food turns into sugar in your body. So if the glycemic index is high, that means that the food that you just ate turns into sugar immediately, which means that most of it can get stored as body fat if you don't use it immediately. If you're just sitting down at your computer, or you're sitting in the car driving from work or somewhere else, or if you're just watching TV on the couch, which most of us unfortunately do all day long, we're sitting most of the time. We're not moving around, we're not walking, we're not taking the stairs instead of the elevator or escalator, we're not riding a bike or walking to work, we're using the car. So we are an immobile society pretty much. So we need to learn how to conquer this and how we can get healthier and still enjoy the foods that we eat. So here's what's happening with when you eat fruit, especially tropical fruit like pineapple and papaya, bananas. These are all high in glycemic index foods, high in sugar. So what's happening here is when you eat that kind of food, a high glycemic index food such as pineapple or papaya, the insulin jacks up really quick, and most of those calories that you just ate are getting stored as body fat. So how do we reverse this around and still eat fruit? Is that we can eat berries instead. Berries are low on the glycemic index. So are apples. So cherries are another one. So there's choices that you can make instead of having going for the traditional banana or pineapple. And what this does is it brings the insulin level up slower because of the glycemic index. There's not as much sugar. There's more fiber, which brings the sugar level down, which makes the sugar come into the system slower. So less body fat is going to get stored with a low glycemic fruit like berries. Okay? Now, not only are you should you eat fruit with other foods, like eggs are a perfect example for breakfast. What can you eat for breakfast? Well, you can eat organic, free-range, omega-3 enhanced eggs with blueberries or raspberries or strawberries. So any kind of berry is going to do you much better than a banana. And unfortunately, most people's diets today, if they do eat breakfast, which most people don't, in fact, over 40% of American population doesn't eat breakfast, but the ones that do eat breakfast, most of them are cramming down a donut and a banana and a coffee. And all that is just complete sugar. So your insulin level jacks up, and all these calories get stored as body fat, so they don't go into the cells for immediate energy. That's why you get tired a couple hours or even an hour after you get done eating. And what do again? You go for another high glycemic food. So you go to the 7-Eleven in your office building and you get a Snickers bar or a Pop-Tart or something, and you're just contributing more and more sugar into your body, storing more and more fat. So we need to get back to getting whole foods and getting low sugars. That's the main thing that I focus on, is keeping the sugar levels down low so that we can keep your body fat in check. Because most of today's chronic diseases like cardiovascular disease, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, even arthritis, the root cause of this is inflammation. And inflammation, a lot of it comes from your stored body fat, which releases inflammatory signals like tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF-A, or interleukin-6. These are inflammatory signals that make your body inflamed, which causes a lot of these diseases. High cholesterol is another one that inflammation causes. Cancer is a big one these days. Heart disease, unfortunately, is the #1 killer in America, so we need to learn how to get those risk factors down. And learning how to eat fruit properly is my way of contributing to just one factor to help reduce our risk to heart disease and other chronic diseases. So not only to get the low glycemic index fruits into your system, and to eat other things with fruit like protein and fat, and not fruit alone, so we can slow down the insulin surge into your system so that we can get the calories into your 100 trillion cells so we can use the energy rather than all getting stored as body fat. So that's just one thing that we can do. The other thing is, if you do eat fruit, there's really basically only 3 times that are good for you to eat fruit. There's a good time, there's a better time, and then there's the best time. So the good time to eat fruit is at breakfast time. And as I said earlier, most people eat breakfast with dry cereal, or they'll eat it with a donut, or they'll eat it with a croissant or a bagel. And these are all high glycemic foods, with the fruit contributing to more sugar into your system. But when you do eat the fruit at breakfast, it's a good time only because you've been going through a starvation mode, a fast, while you were sleeping. So your insulin levels are down low. You want to get those up a little bit so that we can get the protein that you eat in your breakfast into your cells, and insulin is needed to make that happen. So this is why eating fruit for breakfast, along with eggs or cottage cheese or any kind of protein whey protein shakes, is a big one that I do for breakfast. And then get the insulin up a little bit with a little bit of fruit, so we get the protein into your cells and put you back into a health state, a growth state, rather than a destructive state, a starvation state, and a deteriorating destruction state. When you're in a fasted state, there's no food in there, so your body is actually eating itself until you do eat again. So eat properly. If you eat protein with a little bit of fruit in there, you'll stay full for a longer period of time rather than being full like an hour or two later. You'll be able to make it to lunch and not feel full. So you'll eat less calories and you'll be able to lose weight at the same time. Okay, so eating breakfast, fruit at breakfast is a good time. Now, a better time to eat fruit is about 2 to 3 hours before your workout, so that you have the energy, the extra fuel to get through your workout. And the reason why you should do about 2 to 3 hours before your workout is because when you do eat the sugar, the fruit, the insulin level is going to go up, and we need to bring it back down. If you're trying to lose weight, we need to get your insulin level back down to baseline so your body can burn fat while you're doing a workout, because the whole point of most people doing a workout is to lose weight, to lose body fat. And if your insulin levels are up, so if you eat fruit right before your workout, if your body is producing insulin, insulin is a fat storing hormone, so your body can't store fat and burn fat at the same time, so it stores the fat. So you have to wait until the insulin level comes back down. So that's about 3 hours after you're done eating for it to go back down to baseline, so your body can use fat as a main fuel source, so you start losing weight. So that's a better time to eat fruit. And again, I wouldn't eat fruit by itself. I'll do a couple other carbohydrates and protein with that. I would never eat fruit by itself because of the sugar surge and the insulin surge that it does to your body, just storing more and more fat. Now the best time to eat fruit is about 30 minutes after your workout. That's the best time. Sadly, most of us have a sedentary lifestyle, so the workout never happens. So if you're going to eat fruit, breakfast with some protein is the best time to do it. But if you do your workout, then wait until 30 minutes after your workout so that we can get other hormones kicking in, like growth hormone and testosterone and all these other anabolic hormones that are going to increase while you're doing your workout. But if you eat immediately after your workout, these growth hormones stops being produced, so that you don't have the building hormones to help build your body up again. So you want to wait about 30 minutes after your workout, have a little bit of fruit with your protein. You want to get in your branched chain amino acids that you get from whey protein or any complete protein. Fruit is not a protein, it's a sugar. So we need to always combine that with something else so we can slow down the insulin and slow down the fat gain, so we can start losing weight again. So I hope that this helped you out. I'm Christopher Sasha. If you have any questions, you can contact me on my website, christophersasha.com, or you can get my book. I'm also an author, Transforming Your Lifestyle One Belief at a Time. It's on Amazon. Or go to my blog at christophersasha.com. I look forward to hearing from you. I hope you liked what you heard today. If you didn't, send me another message. Say that you didn't like it. Tell me why you didn't like it, so that I can help people. So I can help you understand and help more people try to get the weight off, so that we become a healthier and healthier nation. Thank you.